myself Kavya Krishnan. I'm a biology teacher and today we will be doing chapter number 4 ecosystem, which is given on page number 43 of your biology books. So we'll start learning ecosystem. Before understanding ecosystem in detail, we must know some terminologies, okay, which will help us to understand the word ecosystem in a better way. Among them, the first one is habitat. What is a habitat? A habitat is a place where an organism lives. Clear? Now, a habitat serves three main functions to an organism. Among them, the first primary function is it provides shelter, second food, and third is protection. When an organism looks for an habitat, it will see that the place which it chooses to be its habitat, does it fulfill all these three basic needs, only then it will opt it to be its habitat. Next important terminology is what is a community. When several species of plants and animals, they come together in a habitat, it forms the community. Okay. Next is what is a population. When all the individuals of a species in a habitat come together, it will again form a population. Now, since we have learned all these three terminologies, we can also learn this, that is what is ecology. Ecology is the study of interaction is called as ecology. Understood? Next, what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is defined as a community of living organisms and non-living things interacting among themselves in a particular habitat. Now, which basically, if I put it in short words, that means the living part and the non-living part, which when they are present together in a particular area, the interaction between them. Okay, let's learn about characteristics of an ecosystem, that is features of an ecosystem. Now, how will you identify which one is a habitat and which one is an ecosystem? Only if you know the particular features of both, then only you will be able to distinguish them. So, let's learn about the characteristics of an ecosystem. The first one is interdependence of biotic and abiotic components on each other. That is, in an ecosystem, the non-living and the living part, they are dependent completely on each other. Without the living part, the non-living will not survive, and without the non-living part, the living part cannot survive. Second is energy flow. Between the abiotic component and the biotic component, there is always a flow of energy. Okay? Third is cycling or exchange of materials between the biotic and the abiotic components. That is, when we say cycling, basically the cycling or recycling of minerals. For example, let us say that in the soil, minerals are present. A plant grows by absorbing all these minerals, okay, and then when it grows, it forms fruits. The fruits are eaten by us, right? After a certain time period, when the humans and the plants die, which are the living part, okay, when our bodies will decompose, these minerals, it will reach down into the soil, which is a non-living part. Understood? So, in this way, in the ecosystem, recycling of minerals keeps on flowing. Next, we will learn about the components of an ecosystem. That is, an ecosystem is made up of certain parts. Okay, basically two parts. Let me tell you, one is the biotic part and one is the abiotic part. So, the components of an ecosystem are the biotic component and the abiotic component. From the word itself, it is clear that biotic component means living, means it comprises of the living things. Now, the biotic component, it is classified further into three types. One is producers, second one is consumers, third one is decomposers. Now, I will tell you in detail about them. First is producers. Producers, from the name itself, they are clear. It produces something. So, producers, what do they produce? The producers produce food so that all the population or the living organisms can survive. Now, among the producers, if we say, basically the plants are called as a producers, because only plants have the ability, that is, only they are the organisms which have the chlorophyll pigment, okay, with the help of which they can carry out photosynthesis and produce food. Next is consumers. Consumers are the animals which will feed on the producers because consumers cannot make their own food. Next is decomposers. Decomposers are basically the microorganism which includes the bacteria and fungi which will feed on the dead and decaying bodies. Either it's a plant body or it's an animal body. Okay. These organisms will decompose the body, and when they decompose, it will break down the complex organic substances in the body into simple substances in such a way that the simple substances can be absorbed into the soil. Now, consumers. Consumers are further classified into three. First one is herbivores. Herbivores means the animals which eat only plants. Okay? They form the primary consumers, means they are directly eating the plants, so they are the primary consumers. Example of herbivores are sheep, goat, cow. We are talking about carnivores. Carnivores are those animals which feed on the herbivores. Okay? Carnivores are two types: secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Secondary consumers are the ones which feed on the primary consumer. They are also called as the primary carnivores. Okay? Next is tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers are also called as the secondary carnivores. So, for your better understanding, I'll put an example here. Okay? Let's say grass. Grass is what? Grass is a plant. So, grass is a producer. Now, the grass is being eaten by grasshopper. What is grasshopper? Grasshopper is an animal or an insect, let's say. Okay, so the grass, which is a producer, is eaten by an animal, okay, grasshopper. So the grasshopper forms in the which category? It forms the consumer. Which consumer? Primary consumer, because it is directly eating the plant. Now, this grasshopper is eaten by a frog. Okay, so the frog here forms a secondary consumer. Okay, now when the frog is further eaten by a snake, it forms a tertiary consumer. I hope it's very clear, the example. Next we will discuss is the abiotic components. Okay, now here I have in detail discussed about the biotic components. Abiotic component we will discuss further ahead of the chapter, but I'll just mention here. The abiotic components of the ecosystem are inorganic substances, physical factors, climatic factors and edaphic factors. Edaphic means soil factors. All of these points will cover in detail in the coming video. Next, when I told all of these, we had not discussed about one important terminology called as omnivores. What are omnivores? Omnivores are basically animals which can feed on both the plants as well as on the animals. Okay, so omnivores example is crow, bear, humans. For your better understanding, I'll tell you, in humans, there are some people who are non-vegetarians. Means they eat the plant part, that is, they also eat the vegetables and also they eat the other animals. Understood? I hope it's clear. Next is, we can learn here the difference between the producer and the consumer. So what are the difference between the producers and consumers? First one is, the producers, they can synthesize their own food, whereas consumers, they cannot synthesize their own food. Second one is, the producers, they possess photosynthetic pigment called as chlorophyll. Because of this photosynthetic pigment, only they are able to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, that is why they are producers. Whereas when we talk about consumers, they cannot produce their own food because they lack the photosynthetic pigment called as chlorophyll. Third is, the producers can trap solar energy and convert it into the chemical energy. Okay, that is, the producers have an ability, they have a chlorophyll pigment which will trap the solar energy, convert it into chemical energy, and this chemical energy is stored in the food which we eat. So whenever we are eating food, we are basically eating the chemical energy. We are getting chemical energy. Okay, next is, yeah, we were differentiating it with consumers, right? Consumers, okay, they are not able to trap solar energy because they lack the chlorophyll pigment. Next, examples of producers we will discuss here. Producers examples are all the green plants, the cyanobacteria means the blue-green algae. Examples of consumers are all of the animals which you see as well as all the humans you see around. Okay, they all fall under the category of consumers because we cannot directly make our own food. Next is, we can understand here the difference between a carnivores and omnivore. Okay, what are carnivores? Carnivores are the animals which feed on other animals. What are omnivores? Omnivores are those animals which can feed on both the plants and the animals. Okay, they have, even if the animal option died, they will survive because they can eat on the plants. Even if the plant species dies off, they will again survive because they can feed on animals. Second is, population of carnivores depend upon the population of its prey. As I said, carnivores can feed only on animals if the animals which are the prey of the carnivores, if the prey dies, what will happen is, these consumers, they will also die. They directly depend upon each other. Okay. When I talk about omnivores, it is not such their case. They have an option. Okay. Even if the animals die, they will survive on plant. That is it. Example of carnivores are lion, tiger, wolf, etc. Example of omnivores are man, cockroach, peacock, etc. Thank you. We will be covering the further topics in the next